in the mathematics though, generally, if you really look at them though, the even numbers as they are, right? Because it's wisdom as they are. Wise is a variation of that. As they are, the
but if we really have
even
to give
ones
a
are
number
feminine.
to a woman, it would be Cypher because she's the continuation of all, right? Now definitely, I used to challenge that number a lot though too, because two, I was like, why? But it's part of deconstructing feminism, right? Because I was like, why do I have to be number two? Why do I come second in the equation? But I see it, that equation, 1 + 2, I see it more as like it's an immediate, it only describes one aspect of what creation does, right? Whereas when you look at 0, it describes it more in a grand manner, again, universal, as we said, universal manner. So 2 describes something that's more immediate, whereas 0 is describing something that is ongoing and it's never ending. And that's what really describes the infinity of the original woman, because I always had a problem. I used to say to Sunez, so why is it that Earth seems like a title that is finite, where Allah is a term that is never ending? It always is and it always will be. So why is there a finishing?
Same thing. Always is and always will be.
It took me a while to understand that.
Not everybody agrees with that.
And not every
With what?
That the earth is infinite.
Well,
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
There are also gods that bear witness though that the woman, let me just say this, what people say, that also say that the woman is a mutation of man, of the original man. And then one day we decided to mate with him.
Oh God, are those the Dina gods saying that?
Modified.
Oh my goodness, yeah, the ultimate. The woman is the ultimate. So I forgot. So one of the gods wrote a book. He wrote a book, right? I gotta get the god's name. I can't believe I have all of his book.
Not Supreme Understanding you're talking about.
What?
Not talking about Supreme Understanding, right?
I never heard him say this though. No, I don't know what he thinks about this.
Oh, that's that guy before. He was the first.
No. He writes books, but he writes books for the nation. Like
I know who you're talking about, but I don't get his name.
Say again. Not Malik. No. They're bound books. He has self-published
Yeah, I know
himself.
who it is. Damn, I forgot.
I have them in my house. I just haven't read them in a long
The
time.
guy is saying
Dawood.
Dawood.
So Dawood, yeah. He has a book about the black woman, and he says, I'm just saying what he says. I didn't say if I agree with it yet. Okay? If I get mad though, I'm gonna agree with it though. Don't get me mad. No, but he says that the man, the original man though, was, created himself, right? And he was asexual. In other words, that he was reproducing himself on his own. And what happened was that there were certain men that became weak, and their breasts started to sag, and their members eventually eroded off. And then, wait, let me finish, right? And then, eventually, what happened is that, and this is a process over thousands of years, though. So he doesn't give it like
this is what feels
like in other words, for example, for the mind, though, like the Yakub process of 600 years making devil, that's like not even that's short compared to the process he's talking about. It's a little bit longer what he's talking about. The way he describes it as a longer process, and eventually that became the woman. But he doesn't give any note when like man that was not weakened said, that man over there is.
Got a code, huh?
Yeah, I don't know how that worked. So anyway, that becomes
I feel like that same ideology. I feel like that's exactly. I feel like that's their argument.
No. But there's a lot of older gods. There's a lot of gods of my contemporaries, my age, that bear witness to that. And they probably look like that. Like their hands probably look like that. And during the process, they probably. I didn't even know there were that many here.
She's digging. She's really digging.
Yeah, she's looking.
I am the mutated man.
It's modified, man. We gotta be politically correct.
You were having.
No. Now, as far as the science of it, I don't bear witness to it though. Here the reason I don't bear witness to it is that just as an idea, there's a lot of holes in it though, because when that man becomes an official woman, also too, we talk about that we write our history in advance, everything is right and exact. This gives an actual evolution process of just reverse natural selection. In other words, the reason that evolution and Darwin's concepts actually make sense.
Evolution?
Like evolution. The reason that they make sense and that they're not all the while incorrect is because when Darwin wrote it, he was not writing it for humans, and he did not mean it to be like, oh, the white man's the latest and he's the most advanced model. That was the way they took it. If you read his works, though, what he's saying, though, he's not talking about animals. There's a lot of plants, like animals. He wasn't talking about humans. His concept was that as species develop themselves, they find the things that are most useful. And the only way that they survive is by adapting themselves to have those parts that are most useful. So if they need a tail to develop, and it becomes important for that animal to be able to swim,
the best part
the tail develops. And the species that, they all needed the tail, but the species that didn't develop that tail did not evolve properly.
So they were their own
species. So survival of the fittest takes over because they die off though. And that was where survival of the fittest, evolution, comes into play like that. Now, with this concept of what he's saying though, there seems to be no use for this weakened man. There is no use for this. So what he's technically describing would be a devolution.
Yeah.
But then why would the original man create life through the devolution? And as we see now, because you women are here, and absolutely necessarily embrace devolution. Because now we're still supreme being black man, but we can't do this by ourselves now. So technically, if that's the case, then that means that you ruined us, and now we can't even do this without you.
There are people that say that.
Yeah.
There are people that believe that.
You must do your own research, as I did.
If Mecca did this.